A couple of random divorce statistics that may surprise you. Here we go. Number one, did you know if you work from home, you're less likely to get divorced? Number two, if you have lost a lot of weight since getting married, it increases your likelihood of getting divorced.
I can
The
imagine.
northeastern section of the United States actually has a lower divorce rate than other sections of the US. If you have a lot of close friends that have been divorced, you're actually much more likely to get divorced yourself. The more educated you are, the less likely you are to get divorced. Divorce is really seasonal. Divorce rates are the highest in January and February every year. Good news for millennials, if you're a millennial, you're much less likely to get divorced. And if you have the same alcohol habits as your spouse, you're much less likely to divorce.
Oh, wow. That was random and interesting. So, if you work from home, you're less likely to get divorced. I wonder why. If you have lost a lot of weight, I can imagine why, because you're a different person. You have different habits, you have different patterns, and your partner may not have adopted those too. The northeastern section of the United States is lower to get divorced, but we are also less likely to get married and get married later in the northeast than in the south. So, there's that. Divorce rates, okay, let's see. If you have a lot of close friends that have been divorced, I can imagine. I mean, 'cause birds of a feather and people who they see, look, you don't have to tolerate that anymore. The more educated you are, the less likely you are to get divorced. That's because educated people are getting married later in life. Divorce rates are probably highest in those months because it's cold, there's seasonal affective disorder, or people didn't get what it is that they wanted for Christmas, or they realized they didn't have the happy family that they thought they was going to have in them Hallmark movies. Millennials are also less likely to get married, so you can't get divorced if you ain't even married. Millennials are doing so poorly in terms of finances, and Gen Z is even worse. So what is she saying here? Less likely if you have the same alcohol habits as your spouse. I can imagine, because alcohol habits relate to fitness, relate to going out, relate to standards that you have for your body, religious habits, spiritual habits, all different types of stuff. And there could be a lot of fighting around how you spend your leisure time and also how intoxicated a person is. It's very difficult to be in relationship with a person who has different threshold for how often and how much they like to get intoxicated, or how often and how much they like to spend on alcohol. So those were really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Be a part of the live show with thousands of other viewers. Go to TanyaTKO.com/text and join the text notification squad and get a text whenever I go live. Support the show and yourself, and I'll see you on the next live broadcast.